Welcome back to Watching the Throne on the Late Night Chat Network, episode 51. All right.
I just feel so
Am I
elegant.
and I hope that it came through clear there for you guys because we're still in the midst of messing around with our audio setup. So we've gotten some upgrades and some changes on the way in terms of our audio setup here, guys. So I hope that came through clear. We'll have to watch that on the replay since we pre-record these, and let's keep the fingers crossed because we're pretty pleased with how it's turning out on our end today. So welcome back, Jay. What's going on?
Hey, it's like I haven't seen you in a long time, bro. How you doing?
Yeah, we haven't been having tireless nights trying to figure this audio shit out. No, that hasn't been happening.
I mean, I've literally seen you fucking every day for the last 5 days, bro. I think almost.
It's too much. It's too much. But yeah, welcome back, everybody. This is
Welcome
episode
back.
51 of Watching the Throne on the Late Night Chat Network. Make sure you like and subscribe. This is our Game of Thrones review overview kind of show where we go and talk about Game of Thrones episode by episode. Just so you're aware, this is my first time ever rewatching the show. I have seen the show originally the whole way through, but have never gone back to rewatch it. This is JT's first time ever watching the show, so yeah, you always get different types of perspectives here in terms of
Reactions.
our experience watching these ones, and sometimes we have guests on too. So make sure to check those out. Thank you to Leslie, who was actually our last guest on the show, who closed out season 5 for us. And of course, today we're going to be talking about the episode The Red Woman, which is the Game of Thrones season 6, episode 1. And I think me and Jay are going to be going a little bit more solo throughout season 6 for the most part, but we might have some guests coming up on the by the end of the season. But yeah, this is getting exciting here, guys. This is there's 8 seasons, but arguably the last 2 seasons are almost just a bit more than a full season that we're used to because it's 13 episodes combined with 6 and 7 episodes. But so yeah, this is the last full season of 10 episodes that we have to look forward to here, Jay. What did you think of this episode?
This episode was interesting, my friend.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff happens. I think a lot of stuff is starting to set up. It's really getting to the point where you have to pay attention because now they're getting really intense with these storylines, and you gotta make sure you're following along and kind of remembering things from, like you said, a couple seasons ago, and go, because it's starting to come back and either bite people or, uh, you know, not bite people in the ass, but just necessarily you don't know what's going on. It's been just a crazy roller coaster for me up until now, right? So this one, yeah, this one is a little crazy. It's just after crazy one of the craziest episodes I've watched so far this year. Okay, where my buddy
Yeah,
died.
let's not forget the last episode, the season finale of season 5, guys. Jon Snow dies. And just a peek behind the curtain, we do kind of watch a couple episodes at a time so we can sit down and record. So without jumping the gun too much, Jay, maybe someone's following along with these episodes
Oh, I
with
won't.
us.
Don't you worry.
Yeah, there. We have watched season episode 1 and 2 for anybody that knows what happens in the next one here today. So we're gonna try to keep it within the confines of this first episode. But yeah, the way that last season ended, of course, was a huge upset to Jay with Jon Snow dying because that was something that was spoiled for him earlier on, and
Nico did a great job though of actually keeping it under wraps, and I'll give him that much. And anybody that's been on the show doing these shows with me have not led on to believe that it wasn't that it was gonna happen. So I didn't know whether to believe it or not. Like I didn't know if it was just a drunken stupor that that I heard over. Like they're just making fun of it because he's such a good guy. But yeah, man, this fucking stupid show, but it's a great show. and it's not always so stupid because they tend to make up for it in other ways. But yeah,
Sure.
so at the end of the day, they did something that upset me because I really started to like that character. And I know a lot of you guys out there, if you guys watch the show and if you guys are just watching it and stuff like that, you guys tend to really like that character too. So, I just feel that it's not over, man. I just, for some reason, it just doesn't seem real to me right now. That's
Hmm.
that's the whole thing. So I don't know. I would like to see where the season takes us, and I'd like to see what's going on. But for me, I'm still trying to mourn that that episode. You know what I mean? In that sense, it was great to see the other part of it. Where
Sure.
and they lead on with that with the whole the mother's whatever with the
Yeah.
whatever the title was. But yeah, they
Yeah.
lead on with that, but they throw you right off with the kill at the end,
Yeah. Mother's Mercy, I
and
think
then
it
they
was
make
called
you
that
wait a
one,
whole
right?
year
Yeah.
for you guys.
Yeah. Hey,
I'm
listen.
actually
Yeah.
writing down the dates, now, like the actual release dates of these episodes.
Oh, why don't you let us know then? When did this
So
originally air? This episode.
this one, okay, the
That's
last
something
one,
we should have been doing from the start. Good job, Jay. Yeah, so to give us
this one,
perspective on that. Yeah, continue to do that if you can for the rest of the
yeah.
seasons.
So I didn't get this one. I realized I should do it on the next one. I did it. I thought I wrote it down somewhere on this page, but
Sure, we
um,
can Google it if anything,
yeah, but
but
it was a week. It would have been a week before uh, May May 1st, 2016. That was the release date. So a week before that, they came out on a
yeah,
weekly basis, right?
April 24th. Yeah,
There you go.
2016 is when this aired. Yeah, so
Yeah.
there you
So I
go.
started
So
writing it
that's
down for the next one, right? Like because it literally tells me on the site that I watch it on what they had
right.
aired, like what they had actually premiered.
You know what though? That's not too bad, honestly. Like that actually is a lot sooner than I thought. That's what, several years ago. I thought it was a long. I mean, well, now we're in season 6, so
Yeah.
we're farther along now. So obviously
So
from
you're
where we
saying 6 years, so
started,
2010.
yeah, yeah. So no, it's 2016. This one did, right?
Yeah. So the other one, the original season would have been
Started
2010.
2010. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's obviously way more longer, of obviously
Of
way
a
farther back,
distance.
but
Yeah.
yeah, okay, interesting. Okay,
So
so
we've
several
we've
years
passed,
ago.
I think, the halfway mark now. I think in this show.
Hmm.
So I mean,
Oh
and
yeah,
even
we are.
yeah. So even see like the date wise, like the year wise. So it's kind of like
Mhm.
it's good. So it's not now. I just thought about that like last episode. And I was like, I'm gonna do this right to the end now. I'm gonna just write it up in the corner, right?
Smart. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, yeah.
So
Let's continue with that. That's awesome.
yeah,
But yeah, so this and yeah, guys, our scheduling has been a little all over the place due to some, like, obviously, like I said, we're technical difficulties and things going on lately, and a lot of plans that we've been kind of putting together for the channel. And as a result, the quotable scenes will come back, guys. I promise, because it's me and Jay. I think for, like I said, for majority of the season together instead of some guests, due to scheduling. But
yeah.
so I think I do want to return with the quotes. I'll have that prepared for the next episodes because there are some good ones in these couple of episodes that we'll be recording here today, unfortunately. But I just didn't have that prepared for Jay, so I don't want to kind of just jump the gun here.
I
So
mean, I think I might have wrote them down, but not like the way you have them. I think I might have wrote them down in that paragraph of a sentence I always write.
yeah,
So
yeah. Feel
they're
feel
there
free.
when I read along, right?
Yeah, feel free to do that, of course. But yeah, I know that we did have some people that enjoyed us actually doing the quotes back and forth to each other, like acting out the scenes. So maybe we'll do that again sometime. So I know I've been promising the return of that for a while, but it's been so great. We've had so many great guests come on and join us, and it's really been very interesting. And stay tuned, guys. Like I said, we have plans to do this for House of the Dragon when that comes back with season 2, and we probably will be covering the first season as well, doing it in the same type of format.
Yeah.
And the more we do it, we've been adding little things like Jay just said. He's kind of adding in that info now in terms of the airing time and all that stuff. So it's kind of evolved in the sense the way we do it, and I think we've gotten better at it. And who knows? Maybe we'll do more shows somewhere down the line like this. So stay tuned, right? That'll be very
Fingers
interesting to
crossed, man,
see.
because this is
Yeah.
actually fun.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's always a good time. All
Yeah.
right. Well, without further ado, though, let's get into it here. So here, the first scene of this episode, after the end of the last season, we got them at the wall. The mutineers have left John's body where he fell. Ghost is howling and scratching at the door in grief, which gets the attention of several people, including Davos, who leaves his room to investigate. He finds John's dead body just before Ed and some of his other brothers arrive. They take the body inside, where Ed clears the table and angrily curses Thorn out after closing John's eyes. Davos asks if Ed trusts any of his brothers, and he replies, the ones in this room. Davos convinces him to go bring Ghost in, deciding that they need all the help they can get. And Melisandre arrives, stating she saw Jon in the flames fighting in Winterfell. And Davos and the Black Brothers doubt the now dead Lord Commander could do such a thing, and she returns to her room. What'd you think of this opening scene, Jay? Kind of dealing with the fact that you just witnessed him die, and this was further confirmation of that fact. With this
they
premiere.
have the body hanging there. I mean, first they go out, and I thought, okay, yeah, they would, but they, they're sitting there and they're talking about it, they're talking around it, and I get it, I understand, but you see him, he's there, like you always wonder because it's just laying there. You always wonder if it's the actual actor doing that. It's just laying there with cuts and scars all over him, right? It's kind of cool to see him. It was kind of cool to see him at least appear like that in the beginning of the season, right?
Yeah. No,
So
it was interesting.
but they you
Eh,
can see the men that did trust him, and the ones that did, that there was a tight knit group, like but you can tell that there was shit's gonna go down.
yeah, and not only
Orange
that,
in
like
trouble.
I remember the first time again, like seeing this episode, and like you said, just to further your point, there is how shocking this still was, having waited the year to watch this from the finale of the last season. All the theories going around whether or not he was actually dead, what's going to happen with him. You get some hope at the start of this episode in
Yeah.
terms of, like, it's called the Red Woman. There was a lot of theories involving her, obviously. This is a land of magic, everything else. But listen, we get a good, hard, cold look of him fucking on the slab here, dead. So, like, seeing this when the show started, this first premiere episode, all those years ago, still, I remember, I'm just like, fuck. Like, I honestly, like, I was already so invested at this point. I don't think anybody, like the Ned Stark thing, I think changed that. Like, the Red Wedding was shocking, but I don't think he was a beloved character, Rob, at all,
Yeah.
like in that sense. But and he made a lot of mistakes to get to that point, I feel like. So I think, I don't want to say it was well deserved, but it was, that one wasn't as shocking if you really think about what he did to,
Yeah.
fuck over that guy, right?
Yeah.
He kind of disrespected him quite a bit, and he kind of got his comeuppance in a sense, and they were at war and everything else, right? But the Ned Stark thing was a huge shock, and again, that was at the end of the first season.
That was
So,
right
like,
away too.
yeah, so that was a huge shock, and I think that was the only time I really felt like I can't go on after this, and then I did continue, of course, but this one hurt. I mean, even though I was like, okay, I got to see what happens now, this really did sting, the Jon Snow death, right? Because again, he was the best, the new best kind of character, in the sense, like, he had a heart, unlike
Kind-hearted.
anybody
Yeah.
else on this show. Yes, kind-hearted person
Yeah.
on the show, right? He kind
Yeah.
of filled that Ned Stark kind of spot, I feel like. Always tried to do the right thing, did right by people. You know what I mean? But, like,
You could tell
unfortunately,
it was his son, like half of him at least,
yeah.
right?
So, yeah. So, anyways,
No, but
and
you also got 6 seasons of him too as
yes,
well, and you know what I mean, and seeing things, and then making him. He never really made you hate him. If you really
no,
think about it, through 6 seasons, he never really made you, through five seasons. Well, the end of five, so six to through the sixth season, he never really made you feel like he wasn't a good person at all. Like kind of like
hmm
his dad, but I mean, his dad was like a short-lived sort of thing, start the story
hmm
off. So, but yeah, it had hurt. So I knew the guys too. It probably had hurt too. The actors that are even acting around them, so they were probably easy playing that part, right?
hmm
So, yeah. So, let's see what happens now. Let's see what keeps going with these guys, man. Because there's a lot of shit happening, Boltons and everything
I
happening
I
today.
I gotta say though, the the Night's Watch, not so honorable. I feel like we've seen a few bad things happen with them. Like there's a couple of times where they've become there's mutiny has arose. Like remember there was that
Well,
other time where they're in Craster's Keep. There was a group of them that went off and fucking took that over.
yeah,
I just feel it's funny because like but again, what do you expect? These are beaten men, like men that have been discarded from society that are out on the fucking outposts, all alone with each other, no women, no fucking
that's what I mean.
right,
That's what I
yeah,
mean. They haven't been getting
yeah.
laid, bro. They took an oath not to get laid. This is like being in prison, but out. You know what I'm saying? On the top
Right,
of a wall. That's
right,
basically what it is. It's the kind of like
right.
being in prison in that sense. You're really kind of fucked.
Yeah. No, you're
You got to
right.
watch
You're
out
right.
for everybody because everybody wants your job.
That's right. That's right. Which he was warned. He was warned about this kind of stuff when he took over as Lord Commander, right? But unfortunately, I guess he got a little too big for his britches. He's like, I'm Jon Snow. Everyone's gonna follow me, and no, I guess not.
Yeah, no, no, not at all.
All right. So Alistair Thorne, of course, the man responsible for this whole thing, Othel Yarwick and Bowen Marsh held a meeting with the remaining Black brothers stationed at Castle Black and explained their reasoning for killing the Lord Commander. Most of the brothers come to understand them and side with the mutineers. So yeah, they're even getting all the rest of them kind of in line and getting them to agree with them because again, I mean, this guy was never a fan of Jon, but even more importantly, he said, "Listen, I follow all the orders, but I did go against him. I am the one. I gotta commend him like for at least. It's not like he tried to hide this. I mean, there was obviously so many witnesses, but he's like, yeah, it was me. I'm the one that fucking killed him. Like he just admitted to everybody, right? That he's just like, listen, the guy wanted us to work with wildlings. Like that doesn't happen. I'm sorry, right? Like that's not a thing we do. And then they're just like, I again, I can't necessarily disagree with his line of thinking, but Jon was thinking of the future, and Jon was trying to, you know what I mean? But like again, like look what's going on between two other warring factions that have been at war for how fucking long, right? Unfortunately, some people can't settle their differences. It just continues, and that's kind of what this kind of was to that guy. It's Alistair Thorne, right? Like the wildlings were willing to let bygones be bygones in a sense, right?
Yeah.
For a better way. But this guy couldn't see it, right? He's just like, no, I'm not gonna
It's all
fucking
about
work with the
bargaining, like
wildlings.
really. At the end of the day, it's just about bargaining for peace. Like that's really what it is, and that's
Right.
what they did. They were doing. They were bargaining for peace, man. They were helping each other out so that they can all live a fucking better life instead of everybody getting killed, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, it makes total sense,
Yeah. No, it does.
but not to everybody
Uh,
apparently.
Back inside the room, Davos notes that Thorne is sure to have made his move by now. In response, Ed states he doesn't care because Jon was his friend and they butchered him, and he rallies the loyal brothers to try and take out Thorne in revenge. Davos responds that they are hopelessly outnumbered, stating Ghost isn't enough when Ed brings them up, before reminding them that there are others nearby who owe Jon their lives, realizing this means the wildlings. Ed instructs the others to bar the door and not let anyone else in while he sneaks out to get help. So now Jon needs their help, right? See, they haven't forgotten that he helped them. He saved them from all those the what do you call it? The undead there.
The undead, yeah, with
Yeah,
that
yeah.
fucking
So
with the sword, man. Yeah,
White Walkers. So
the
he
white,
saved
yeah,
them,
White
right?
Walkers. There
So
you go. Hmm.
yeah, but anything else about this scene?
I don't know. I like how they're setting it up. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say
Yeah.
because people pay attention because the next scene with them is gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun.
Yes. Then we go over to see Ramsay here, your boy, and Maester Wolken attend to the dead body of Miranda. Ramsay remembers the first time he met her, stating that
Bro,
while were afraid of him, other people were afraid of him, including the Maester. She wasn't. Wolken asks if they should bury her or construct a funeral pyre. Ramsay orders to feed her to the house.
bro, that was the best. He talks all sweet to her, like he's talking all sweet to her dead body there, and saying that this and that and all that. So you're thinking, okay, he's gonna end up because he asks, you know, you want me to bury her or you gonna burn her or whatever it is, and then he's like, no, what do you say? You just burn her and just, you know, it's good meat. Don't waste the meat. It's good meat. Feed it to the hounds. Holy fuck, bro. I
Yeah.
mean, you know those hounds eat pretty good. That's no wonder it's getting a little crazy with those hounds, bro.
Those
Yeah.
fucking hounds. Yeah. I
Yeah.
just,
Keep in
again,
mind
it just,
about the hounds, guys. Just remember about the
I,
hounds if you haven't watched this
I
yet.
just goes to show you again, like how fucking cold blooded this guy is. Because literally, he's warning her, and then he's just like, "Oh, so funeral arrangements, sir." He's like, "Are you crazy? There's fresh meat over there. Let's feed it to the fucking house."
So
Like,
bipolar, bro. Like I don't know what it is. It's some sort of a mental, you know, fucked up thing. I don't know what it is, but you know what? It's actually interesting to be honest with you because to just surprisingly come out and say it like that, like it was nothing. I just feed her to the hounds, like as he's walking away, like he doesn't give two shits. You know
I
what I mean?
know.
He said his
It's fu-
goodbye and that was it. You know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, he's a character, man. He's a fucking character. I'm loving that, man. But yeah,
Meanwhile, Roose Bolton meets with Ramsay and asks if preemptively assaulting the struggling army of Stannis Baratheon makes him feel like a winner now that they've lost Sansa. A Lannister army marching north could easily overwhelm the Bolton troops at Winterfell and the Dreadfort. Ramsay assures his father that they will recapture Sansa as he sent his best men to find her. Roose continues that they need her to rally the North against the Lannisters if need be, and subtly warns Ramsay that if he fails to recapture her, his unborn brother will become his heir instead of Ramsay. This guy is kind of a huge prick to him, honestly. Like the fact that he's been dangling this over his head consistently at this point, and I just think it's like he's already kind of made that point to him. He clearly was upset by it, but then he continues to use it to his advantage to push this guy to do shit for him, it seems like, even though all he wants is his respect and for him to like actually treat him as an equal. And he has already named him a son in name, but yet now he continues to wave the fact over his head that, oh yeah, but I can pull it away from you at any time, right? Like, cause that's manipulative, this guy, right? That's kind of fucked up. I mean, listen, I don't feel bad for fucking Ramsay, you know, because he's fucking sadistic too. But I just saying, like, Bolton is a piece of garbage as well. Quite right.
you can kind of see that it's family.
Roose is also a prick, right? So I
Yeah,
mean,
but that's what I mean. You can see that the Bolton and Ramsey are related because they both are weird pricks. But Ramsey just takes it to another level. That's all. Like I
yeah.
mean, you know, he's not. He's just yeah, yeah. I don't know. Just not mature. Maybe I don't know what it is. I can't figure it out, man. It's a crazy. I'd like to know.
What else do we got here?
It's a cool one,
Um,
man.
yeah. So Theon and Sansa in this next scene, I believe, right? Having
Yeah.
survived the
Sorry, it's
fall
still
from.
Reek. Well, it's still kind of Reek right now.
Well, yes, that's true.
It's
I
still
mean,
kind of
he's
Reek.
kind of, but he has kind of finally shown some sense of himself compared to before, right? But you're
Yeah.
right. He's having survived the fall from Winterfell's wall at the end of last season, run through the Wolfswood, realizing there are already men with hounds chasing them.
That was
Theon
quick.
tries to hide their scent. Yeah, I was kind of surprised by this because I didn't remember. I thought once they got over the wall, that was it. But no, they still continue to have issues even after they've tried to run away. So I gotta give it up to them.
Well,
But
they've
we'll
been
get to
running
their.
for a whole season, but half like
I was,
season off.
uh,
So
I was about to say, let's give it up to their savior here in a moment.
yeah,
They're realizing that there are men with hounds chasing them. Theon or Reek tries to hide their scent by crossing a river. Guiding a frightened Sansa, they make it across and hide by a fallen tree with Theon hugging Sansa to try to keep her warm. Yo, the fact that Sansa almost gave up because of a fucking river, I couldn't believe that. I'm like, she's like, I'll
it's too
die. I'm
cold.
like, are you fucking crazy? Get in there. Like,
It's too
you're being
cold.
chased.
No,
Bro, Theon's just like, I've seen these hounds rip apart people before. You don't
yeah,
understand. We got to get across this fucking river. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
we'll
I was
figure it
like,
out.
serious. I just thought that was so funny. With everything going on, she was just like, I don't know, this water's kind of cold. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dogs are gonna fucking eat you. Like, keep going.
Oh,
Uh, Yeah, so hearing the dogs still after them, Theon tries to lead them away, telling Sansa to keep heading north for Castle Black and Jon. A group of Bolton men sent by Ramsay with the bastard's girls find them. Theon claims Sansa was hurt when they jumped and he left her to die, but the dogs find her. The leader mocks Theon over what Ramsay will do to him now and prepares to bring them back to Winterfell. Here we go. Enter
Okay.
Brienne and Podrick. They arrive and a fight begins.
Uh-oh.
Brienne kills most of them while Podrick displays the techniques that she taught him, managing to kill one. He is then attacked by another and briefly holds his own before being knocked down, but Theon grabs a sword, and this is when he becomes Theon again, Jay, and kills the
This is
Bolton man. Sansa accepts Brienne into her service. Where they go next is uncertain. That was a fucking awesome scene, man. Finally.
it was fucking dude. That's when I got my respect back for him.
Yeah.
I honestly got my respect back for him because he after that, honestly, it blew me away. It was like, yeah, what's up? That's the Theon I remember.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
so
This is kind of like it's when Theon got his balls back, essentially. Right in this scene.
Theon
I
got
mean,
his balls back.
he technically hasn't got them back, but I mean, at least he's displayed some sort of sense of stepping it up here finally after everything he's been through, right? So he saved
You'd think he'd have
Podrick
enough
here.
anger in there to fucking kill somebody and more people. You know what I mean? Like this guy would
Yeah.
just go off, but
Well, he's not done yet. He's still alive. You never know, right? We'll see what happens with him.
he's still alive.
Cersei in this next scene is sitting alone in her room when a servant enters and announces that a ship from Dorne has arrived. Again, now we're dealing with the fallout of what happened at the end of last season, guys. If you don't recall, she lost another kid, realizing that Myrcella
Was that
has
number
come
two?
home. Yeah. Realizing that Myrcella has come home, Cersei joyfully runs down to the harbor, only to see a grim-faced Jaime alongside a shrouded body. She tearfully understands that her daughter has died just by looking at him kind of coming in on the boat, right? And I mean, after everything this woman has kind of been through as of recently, I don't blame her for being like right away being like, oh, fuck, like she's dead, right? Like, I mean, this is like at this point, it couldn't have happened at a better time, I think, for her, honestly, just because she's so broken at the moment, like, you know what I mean, or at least the way, like, yeah, that I think this is just another thing, right? Like, honestly, like if this happened at another moment, I think she would have taken it a lot worse than she did here, right? But she was just like, yeah, she was more angry, more like, I need to get vengeance, you know what I mean? Like, if anything, in this moment, I feel like,
Yeah, I think she was mad with herself too, as a sense, in that sense too, and in a little bit of a sense too, because I mean, technically, it's all her fault for everything, anyways. Really, I mean, a lot of this shit that's happening, well, at least on that part, is is her problem. Like, she's caused a lot of it. She's caused all this, and she doesn't. I don't know
right.
if she physically really realizes it or what, but
Right. Well, I think that it is talked about a little bit here in this next scene. Later in the Red Keep, Cersei asks Jaime when was the first time he saw a dead body. He replies it was their mother's. Cersei tells of her memory of the horror she felt after seeing her mother's corpse and wishes not to see it happen to Myrcella. She reveals Maggie's prophecy, which again is that flashback that we got with the witch, basically giving that prophecy to her, and she mentions this to Jaime, but he dismisses it as nonsense, like altogether. But again, we're seeing it come true, right? I mean, and I
slowly.
think like I said, maybe she's not showing like a vengeful side in this moment. To your point, I think you're right. Like I think she's realizing that it's her fault. This is why I think she's taking it better than, and not only that, she's kind of convinced that this is why it's happening because she got the fortune, and she was just like, yeah, you were right, Jaime. Like she actually finally says that, like in this scene, she's like, everyone's against us, we're against everybody else, blah 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 blah. Like, you know what I mean? She's kind of just like fed up in this scene. Like she's upset, but
Yeah.
she's also not like she's not like crying her fucking eyes out in this moment. Like she's teary-eyed, of course, but she's just like, okay, we need to kind of reevaluate like how we're gonna do things, because like, yeah, I've had enough of this shit, right? So like she's she's upset, she's clearly distraught, but like, I mean, just like, I think she's blaming it all on this witch, this woman that predicted all this was gonna
Yeah.
happen, right?
And she
Yeah.
went to that
So
way to the witch that they call it. I mean, but it's really just a psychic or whatever you want to call it,
yeah,
right? So
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But things they don't understand back then, they would just call you a witch, right? Like anybody, any premonitions or anything like that, they're a
yeah.
witch, right? Like yeah. So
Well, you're doing
meanwhile,
witchcraft or whatever. That's what it was
yeah.
considered or whatever. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Marjorie is still imprisoned by the Faith, and the High Sparrow comes to visit her. She asks about Loris, but the High Sparrow says that she has to confess first. When she admits that nobody is without sin, he tells her that she is on the right path, but still has a long way to go.
Yeah.
And yeah, so then we kind of go away from King's Landing for a scene.
Yes, we do.
We bounce back over to the Water Gardens where we left off in Dorne
And
there.
Dorn, yeah.
Yeah. Alaria helps Doran get to his wheelchair as they both reminisce about Oberyn, with Doran stating how he envied his late brother for the adventurous life that he led, essentially because he is, bound to the chair because he's crippled and like, he was able to go around the world and see so many things and like have these adventures and everything. And, I got it. It was a relatable kind of like a thought on his part. I feel
Yeah.
like if you were bound to a chair, you couldn't do, but then look at Bran, right? What he's been up to, right? I mean, he's been all over too, I feel like, but he has to literally get carried around, right? So
Yeah.
it's not a great way about going about things. But Alaria states that Doran would have made a bad adventurer, while Oberyn would have been a bad ruler. After Doran settles into his chair, Maester Calliot brings him a message that Myrcella has died. Before Doran can react, Tyene stabs Ario Hota, is like a guardsman, in the back, killing him, while Alaria stabs Doran in the chest. So two of Oberyn's daughters here. As he lies on the floor, his other guards do nothing, indicating that they have sided with Alaria as she twists her knife into Doran. She angrily says that he remained passive despite the brutal deaths of both his sister and brother, and that the people of Dorne are with her now. As he is gasping, Doran begs Alaria to spare Trystane, but she coldly scoffs at him. Doran then dies in a pool of his own blood. What do you think of this? Were you expecting this to happen? Because I think he warned her a lot in that last episode, and after obviously finding out about this, she kind of had to react quick because it was, she was done for if she didn't do something in this moment, right? Like
Yeah.
she would have been killed. But
Well, she kind of sort of sucked. She kind of made it look like it wasn't going to happen. Nothing was going to happen, right? And then all of a sudden, these two came out of nowhere, and boom, started going
yeah, because
crazy,
they were
right?
playing nice with each other. Like she's like complimenting him, and they're like,
Yeah,
"Oh yeah, everything's good." And then all of a sudden, yeah, she makes the move, right? I
yeah,
liked to her speech that she said to him about how he's lost touch with his own people. You know what I mean? Like she's
yeah.
just like, how could you have fucking done nothing? It's like your niece or whatever. Oh no, because it was his sister. No, it was Oberyn's, your sister raped and killed, your brother killed or whatever, right? He's like, you did nothing. He's like, it's true when it comes to rulers. What she's saying sometimes, like they do lose sight of the people and they do lose sight of what's like. She's like, your people don't respect you. You don't know what
Well,
goes
it
on.
happens. Yeah,
You don't
it
know what
happens
goes
with
on,
anything, right? I mean, it
right? You
happens
don't
when you
know.
have that overpower over everybody. You kind of lose sight of the little person. You know,
But
the
that's
one
what I
that's
mean.
there
She's
for
like,
you.
you don't know what happens outside your walls anymore. Like she
Yeah,
was kind of saying. But at the same time, him trying to keep a peaceful community, I don't think is a bad thing, right? But
yeah,
unfortunately, that also comes at a cost, and it came with his life here, right? You gotta remember, like in Game of Thrones, we really haven't seen many rulers like this. If you think about it, I think another good example of it is actually of all fucking people, the Targaryen that was in the House of the Dragons that dies at the end of the first season, right? I think that guy, I can't remember which Targaryen that names that was, is Aemon. I can't remember, but that one, no, Aemon's the one that just died in the show here.
yeah.
Um, he he
Argon,
he
Aegon.
he wanted, he wanted everybody to get along in his family, but they wouldn't.
Yeah,
Remember, like he
yeah.
was just like, I just want peace for everybody, like, right? And unfortunately, yeah, it's
Well,
hard. It's hard.
this death didn't bother me too much. I mean, really, at the end of at the end
No,
of the, no, it didn't even phase me, man. It really just
no,
kind of went. I understood the story that they were trying to say about it, right? And yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I'm kind of more happy they did it in a sense because fuck, you didn't even stick up for your brother, man. What the fuck?
There you go. Yeah, no, I mean, with everybody else that we've experienced in terms of their deaths on this show, this was nothing. I agree.
Yeah, this was like, okay, it was funny, right? At the end of the day,
And I do
they
like
killed.
those characters. I do like the daughters of Oberyn and all that. I like those broads. So
Well, they haven't taken their clothes off yet, so I don't know how I like them.
one of them has showed their tits. What are you
Oh
talking
yeah,
about?
yeah. To Braun.
Or someone's tits. Who knows whose tits those were, right? They didn't really see. You didn't see her face. Oh yeah, actually, I think there was a pan up of her.
They were nice.
Yeah, I
They
think
were
it was
little
her. Yeah.
funky little ones. Yeah. Well, we got some good ones coming up. Don't you worry.
Obara and Nymeria arrive on Prince Tristane's ship, announcing their intention to kill him. Nymeria offers Tristane the choice of which one of the Sands he'd like to fight, and he chooses Nymeria, only to be killed when Obara impales him through the back of his head when he
What a
faces
move.
Nymeria, turns his back to her. Yeah, and you gotta, there's the quote. This is the quote for the episode right here. He's like, "You're a greedy bitch, you know that?" That's what the one says to her.
Yeah.
Because she's like, all right, let's do this. Because they're like bloodthirsty to fight, right? She's like, which one of us do you want to fight? And the two Sands walk up to him. He's like, okay, you. And she's like, all right, let's do this, right? So then he turns his back completely to the other one who's got the huge like spear, and she just fucking shoves it through the front of his head. And you see from the other side, like the spear go through it. And that chick is so mad.
Fine.
She's just like, you're a gritty bitch, you know that? Literally, they just leave.
I was fucking dying, bro. I was like, nice shot. I didn't know if it was a setup at first until I heard that line. That's the thing. Like, I didn't know if that's the way they were setting it up to kill him, right?
Sure. Why not? Why risk it? Right?
And all of a sudden, you see the spear come through the fucking back of the head. Boom. Holy shit. Where did that come from? I'll be that.
Yeah.
Those kind of graphics on this are pretty good, man. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Well, we're getting better, right? We're, like I said, this is only several
chugging
years
along.
ago now.
It's 2016. We're getting better at everything now. Especially dead people.
And this next scene here, this is where I would have pulled quotes from if I could have.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Varys and Tyrion are seen walking through through this. Yeah, so go ahead. Hold on, let me set this up.
You're gonna...
Varys and Tyrion are seen walking through the city of Meereen dressed as merchants. After coming upon a starving woman and her baby, Tyrion offers a coin, saying the money is for the baby to eat. His poor Valerian frightens the woman, who thinks that he wants to buy her baby to eat it. Varys, he interrupts, explaining to the woman the money is so the baby can eat. The relieved woman accepts his generosity. He's like, yeah.
Finally, like 6 seasons in, the actual subtitles are at the bottom of the fucking thing now. Like you actually could see them, right? Like it was different before. So you're seeing these subtitles and they're already put in, right? So, but you have them, and even the first, when they first pan to them when they're walking through the when you first show you them two walking together, you walk like a rich person, and he's like, go ahead, rich people, walk like that, But he also had after the thing, he was telling him about Varys was telling him about a story about when he was younger, and when he was like 10 years old or something like that, when he was a boy, right? And he used to pick on people like Tyrion or stuff like that, the rich ones, right, and stuff like that. And I forget what it was said just before that, but it was funny because Tyrion says, "Good thing you're not a good thing you're not a boy. Good thing you're not a boy no more. It's because you have no cock."
That's right. There's another scene. It might be in the next episode, but there's one where they're talking. I think it's in the next episode, but whatever. I'll say it now. They're talking, and they're with the assistant that works for fucking Daenerys. What's her name? Missandei. And he's like, oh, it's okay. He's like, I make fun of his cock, and he makes fun of my height or whatever. He's like, I do not make fun of your height. He's like, he makes fun of me because I'm a dwarf, and I make fun of the fact he doesn't have a dick or something like that. You know what I mean? Oh man, they kill me, these two, man. They're the best. I'm so glad they are reunited, even halfway across the world. These guys, this is all I needed. These two. Yeah. Yeah, man, it's good stuff.
Oh,
Oh,
well.
anyways, as they continue their walk throughout the city, Tyrion states that they need to find the leader of the Sons of the Harpy in order to bring peace to Meereen. Varys explains that his spies have been sent all over the city and that they will soon bring him information. His little birds. Their conversation is interrupted by a crowd of screaming people running from a huge cloud of smoke. The two make their way towards the origin of the smoke. All the ships in the harbor have been set aflame. Tyrion comments that they won't be sailing to Westeros in the near future. So yeah, very interesting stuff going on here. In the Dothraki Sea here, we got Dario and Jorah. They're looking for Daenerys and come upon the remains of a ram charred by Drogon's fire. Knowing that they are on the right track, they note the numerous hoof prints in the proximity. While Jorah realizes that Dothraki have been here, he finds the ring that Daenerys intentionally dropped on the ground in the last episode, the season finale there, to kind of, I guess, lead them, give them a clue that she's been taken. And smart of her. I gotta say, I don't remember her struggling with the fucking Dothraki again at this point in the season. This kind of feels like a step back to me personally. Like, I mean, she struggled a lot with like different. I've said this before to you, Jay. In my head, I pictured that she had a much easier journey in terms of her trying to accomplish what what she wants to accomplish in this show. Yet I mean, she has had it pretty. It's been pretty difficult. I feel like for her these last couple of seasons, and not only that, like I don't know. I just don't know understand why she's like. I get the Dothraki aren't really following her anymore, so therefore she runs into other Dothraki that it's an issue. But I just, I don't know. I'm like, we've done the Dothraki thing already. I don't understand why they're going back to the well on this one. Personally, I don't know. What do you think about the fact that they have this Dothraki storyline kind of in here again? I don't know. I'm not really. I don't really care for this one.
I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with that, right? Because it just popped out of nowhere, right? Like, I mean, I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting to see them again, but I mean, it is still, still Westeros and still the whole area, and they're still around,
Yeah,
right?
I wouldn't mind if like they ran into them and then they either do or don't choose to join her. But like again, I don't know. I just feel like they should have resolved the last Dothraki stuff like better than this, in the sense that like again, it feels like they're just, it's like they're it's going back to the well. It just seems like familiar. Like I'm like I feel like we've done this Dothraki storyline already. Like this whatever's going on here. I just didn't remember it. It wasn't very memorable to me, this Dothraki stuff the second time around. And now you got like a Jason Momoa light over here. Like this isn't like this is like, you know what I mean? Like there's another guy that's trying to be
Kind of looks
Jason
like him,
Momoa.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like get
He's
out of
got
here.
that similar look, which is kind of corny. I know.
Yeah. So, anyways, in this next scene, Daenerys is shown walking with her hands bound, and two Dothraki take her to Khal Moro as a gift. The Khal wants to rape her, but she explains who she is, Khal Drogo's widow. The Khal unbinds her and promises her that she will not be harmed. When Daenerys asks to be escorted back to Meereen in exchange for the promise of 1,000 horses for her safe return, Moro's wife tells her that she has to remain in the temple of Vaes Dothrak with the other Khal's widows for the remainder of her days and join the Dosh Khaleen. So I guess they have rules to their ways of living here, and I guess Daenerys was not privy to this information, I guess, previously, and therefore now she's apparently like an old Egyptian kind of deal, has to go into like to this place where all the widows apparently like I guess live out the end of their days or something, which is kind of fucked up. I mean, it's again, I don't know, like again, then she comes there and then oh, we get the whole thing, oh, I'm gonna rape you. Like we've done this already with
But
this whole
they
Dothraki
they were
shit.
talking like, bro. They were talking about her white hair, with her white hair, and if her pussy hair matched the same.
I know,
Like
but
the
she's
subtitles told you straight up, man. I liked it
I
this time
know,
around.
but she's got disrespected like this already before, man. Like enough of
Yeah,
this now. Like I
but
don't know. I don't
did you
know.
like that scene just before that? Before you see her chained in and that stuff where Jorah and that thing are taking, they're looking for her, and they see all the dead ram. They see they're still looking for her, and they have a little dialect together too, right? Just before you see
I mentioned that scene, but
yeah,
if there's a
right.
quote from it, if you want to say,
No, I
yeah,
don't
I
have a
mentioned the
quote. I
scene
just
though.
thought
Yeah,
it was really it's cool that they're there together. There was something that they had said, and that he asked him how come he keeps coming back, right? And
yeah,
and there was something, like they he they actually had a good, I guess, a repertoire
Yes.
with each other. If you
Yeah.
want to say it.
It's interesting to see the two men that are in love with the same woman are kind of getting along here. Yeah,
But he
absolutely. I
had
agree
he
because
stared at his wrist too, and then you know what? It hasn't changed really since the last time we seen it. No, it's kind of still the same.
no.
It hasn't grown any bigger or anything. So
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
so
wondering. But yeah,
Arya, yeah, in this next scene we got Arya again. She's blind now as a result of what happened at the end of last season, and she had her sight taken away, and she begs for money in the streets like a
this
bum
is
here. And
awesome, man.
when the waif approaches her with two fighting sticks, giving her one of them, Arya explains that she can't fight because she's blind, but she simply answers, "That's not my problem," and starts beating her. Arya poorly tries to defend herself but fails miserably. She stops and says that they'll meet again tomorrow, and kind of goes on her way. So yeah, she's in a bad place right now. Arya. These guys, like they don't steer away from torturing even the most
Well,
beloved characters in this show, right? They kind of are just
I
like,
feel
listen,
like they
listen,
were training her for
you got to
something, like
suffer.
by making her
They're still
listen to
training
all the
her.
noises around her. She should know where that fucking stick is coming from. She's supposed to be listening, not just sitting
Of
there
course,
begging like that. She's
of
supposed to be
course,
taking in all the surrounding noises.
it's like a ninja thing. It's
Yeah.
Daredevil, right? It's all, the Daredevil is blind and he learns to fight because he's
His
got
eyes
he's
look
got
like that
radar.
too.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. So
That's
yeah,
crazy,
very
man. Yeah.
so. All right, so this is Jay's leading into Jay's favorite scene of the episode here, guys. Now this is something I hinted at even the next episode. I was laughing with Leslie on the show. I said, "Oh, I can't wait for this reveal to happen." For Jay, knowing how
Fuck
much
off.
he loves this woman when she gets naked. Oh man,
I
I
want
didn't
to
even say
throw up.
that.
Well,
I didn't even
let's.
say it. Yeah, I'll get into it here.
I wish
All
I had
right,
a
so
picture
first,
of it.
I mean, there is one online, at least on the site that I pulled it from, but maybe I'll try to grab it for you here. Thorne and the other senior members of the Night's Watch approach the room, with additional members in toe bearing arms. Thorne speaks to Davos through the locked door and promises full amnesty for the members of the Watch. He basically lets them say, I'll let you get out of here, and we're not going to harm you. Just get the fuck out. And he offers Davos a fresh horse and a safe passage to ride south or in any direction he wishes, and
I
adds
wanted
that.
mutton.
Yeah, and adds that Davos can take Melisandre with him, which we just learned, guys. You have to cure it for 2 days before you can
2 years. Isn't it 2 years?
No, 2 years. Sorry, not 2
Yes.
days. 2 years. It was between 2 and 6 years. We couldn't figure it out. It's 2 years. That's
I
right.
know. I was like, I'm remembering. Where the hell did I hear that from? Right? Like I
The
got
trivia the other day. Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause-
Yeah, that's right.
oh my god.
He adds that Davos can take
Twice in 1
Melisandre with
week.
him as well. Davos mocks what he knows to be an insincere offer by requesting mutton. He tells Thorne he is a poor hunter and does not want to starve, so he needs some mutton for his trip. Thorne promises him food will be provided and notes that the offer is available as long as everyone in the room surrenders by sundown. So Davos now is just trying to extend the period of time that they have to like go get the wildlings, right? He's just fucking with them. He's like, I just love how Davos is like, he's got his ear to the door and he's like, oh, well, I'm an old man. I'm not really a great hunter. So why don't you get me some food and then we'll get out of here.
I mean,
he's like, all
not
right.
lying.
Yeah, I know, but it's just,
he's probably good, but a good hunter. But I mean, still, at the end of the day, he's playing the old card.
I just love how he says that and he's looking at the other people in the Night's Watch. He's like, you get a load of this bullshit. He's like, I need some mutton, guys. I like Davos, man. He's a good guy. I like him, so I was happy to see that.
I was
he's
surprised
smart.
they were actually giving him time. Like, to be honest with you, I was actually really surprised.
Well, that's why they're idiots. That's why Thorne's on the other side of the door. He's like, oh, all right, we'll get you some mutton.
Yeah.
Davos is like, yeah, listen, just give me some food and I'll be on my way, right?
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Here's the scene. Here's the best scene of the episode here. Alone in her bedroom, Melisandre appears, looking as if she has been betrayed and led astray by the Lord of Light. There, as you may remember, guys, like she kind of put all her faith in the whole Baratheon situation, and that failed. And she thought her visions were kind of messing with her in terms of like what she was envisioning, right? And then she comes to think, she thinks that Jon is now the savior. That's why she left the Baratheon Stannis situation at the end of last episode. If you remember, she fled because she's like, oh no, like this isn't what I was envisioning. Your banner that I saw, like you're gonna lose, right? So she fucks off. And then she thinks that Jon's the answer, but then when she goes to see Jon, he's dead, right? So then now she's kind of all turned around. She's like, what the fuck, right? What am I gonna do here? And anyways, there are various containers on a table next to her bed, among them small ones with potions and other liquids and a mirror. She unbuttons the front of her dress, and you see a nice, young, beautiful body. Of course, she's buck naked once again on this show. Always looks great, this woman, the actress. I don't know. She always looks amazing. Yeah. Jay's been salivating every time she's been on the screen naked. I mean, in the last season. She then removes the dress completely and stands nude before the mirror. When she removes her large necklace, the gem loses its glow. In the mirror, Melisandre's reflection shows that she has transformed or morphed back to a 400-year-old woman that she has been said to be. A frail old woman with sagging breasts. Okay, obviously she's 400 fucking years old. I mean, what do you want?
I wrote barf right beside it, bro.
Leathery skin and thin, wispy white hair. Fully nude with her head bowed down in a despondent manner, she slowly climbs into bed and pulls the fur blanket on top of her. I mean that was a crazy reveal at the end of this episode. Maybe it's not as crazy as end scene. Yeah, maybe not as crazy as Jon Snow getting killed, but still a shock. I'll tell you that much.
You know what, man? This one felt bad too. This was like, you assholes. You not only killed Jon Snow last episode, now you're showing me that Melisandre really doesn't look that fucking good. You've been teasing me all along. It's like I've been looking through an hourglass or something. But you know what's funny is that imagine if that mirror actually was a half decent mirror. You know what I mean? Imagine her actually seeing herself in the mirror. At least that mirror kind of, you can get away with saying, oh, it's the mirror's fault, if she's looking at herself. But my God.
Yeah, I know it was a big letdown for sure. But I mean, listen, she looks pretty good for 400 years old.
And that skin dress, whatever she's got on, is pretty sick too. Right?
Yeah.
I know it's just a necklace there. I'm noticing it's just a necklace. I realize.
I mean, but it was also sad because you can tell that she's kind of defeated in this moment, and then she takes off the necklace and it reveals who she really is. And I mean, it's great that she has the power to deceive people to make her look like this beautiful woman. And listen, think of this, Jay. All those times she was banging Stannis, he was actually banging this broad right here, like the actual like old woman, the 400-year-old woman. But I mean, like, I guess the looks and feels of it were just like she was an actual younger woman. So I mean, at least she has the power to do that. But I mean, in reality, that's kind of who you're hooking up with,
pole,
right?
Buddy. I'm telling you right now. But I'll tell you something. This for 400 years old. I mean, what are you gonna do, bro? It's just. If you can make it, you know what, people would pay millions and billions of dollars for a necklace like that. I'll tell you, if you can live and look like that with that necklace on, I'd even pay for fucking a necklace like that.
Oh yeah, well fuck, I think a lot of people would, right? Like,
I look already 100 years old, yeah.
But that was quite the shock. I'm not gonna say no. You haven't been looking your best lately.
Yeah, nobody ever told me she was gonna turn ugly. No, nobody gave that secret away.
No, I wanted to keep that close to the vest as much as possible. Every time she got naked, you're like, yeah. I'm like,
this show's starting to get worse. All of a sudden, it's like they're stopping the women. The women are not taking their clothes off. You can see the progression through the
I told you. I told you.
Taking their clothes off.
I told you.
It's just like, oh,
you're gonna see less and less nudity. I told you that was gonna happen.
Right in the beginning, right? It was like every scene, boom, bang, bang, boom. It's like, no.
No, but that's how they got you. That's how they got us, though. That's how they got a lot of people. They were like, I don't really like fantasy. Oh, there's tits. Oh, there's people killing each other. He's like, all right, I'll go. There's dragons. Okay, I'm in. Like,
It's a reel of
Yeah,
men,
so
and just at the top of it, at the top of it all, throwing dragons.
yeah,
Tits and
yeah.
everything. Tits and ass would have already got
That's
me in there.
I mean, let's be honest. That's what got you involved in the show was the tits and the dragons. I mean,
Yeah, at the end of the day.
oh,
So
there
it's
you
keeping
go.
me
Well, there you
going.
yeah. So there you have it, guys. That's episode 1, the premiere of season 6 of Game of Thrones, The Red Woman. And the next episode that we're gonna be talking about next week, if you guys tune in, is season 6, episode 2, Home, which is a really big one, guys. So make sure to tune in for that one. I actually got a couple of interesting revelations in that episode, and you guys got to tune in to hear what Jay has to say about that, because there's a huge reveal in that one, which Jay had, obviously was a big moment for him, I think, given the outcome of these last couple of episodes. So very cool. Make sure to tune in for that, guys. Weekly at 8 p.m. We're going to continue to drop these, and until we're done. I think we're going to be done sometime I think by
Thanks
March of 2024, I think, is when we're set to be done this show, at least for them coming out
for
once a
now.
week, right? Yeah,
But you know
exactly.
what?
So
Thanks to everybody that's actually been checking them out on a regular. Like, even if you're just listening to them, guys, thanks. I mean, I know I'm not the most, we're not the most captivating people, but I would like to say that we give some sort of entertainment. But thank you guys for continuing to watch it, man. I don't say that enough, especially on this show, because I noticed
yeah.
that with people viewing it and all that stuff. So it's nice to know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we do
Keeps
appreciate
me
it,
interested.
and yeah, it's keeping us interested in doing it, and it's been great conversations. And honestly, we do put a lot of work into this. I know it doesn't seem maybe that way sometimes, like, but we do take a lot of copious amounts of notes. Yeah, there you go. And I still
Books,
got
oh
your
man,
I got your book for you still, so I'll have to run that down to you when I see you later on. And
yeah.
yeah, so there you go, guys. That'll do it for this episode. So make sure you like and subscribe as always. And let me get that music queued up. Hopefully the audio came out good for you guys. And we'll see
Oh,
you guys next time. Yeah, later.
later.